My girlfriend Sarah thinks we should turn ourselves into somebody. A scientist, a government
No.
agency, somebody.
No,
She's been
again.
saying that since week 2. I keep telling her there's nobody to turn ourselves into. Nobody has a protocol for this. Nobody has a form you can fill out that says we found something that shouldn't exist and now it lives in our apartment and it ate half a bag of ketchup chips this morning and fell asleep on the radiator. Nobody's prepared for that conversation, so instead, I'm making this video. It was a Tuesday in late October when we found it. Sarah and I were hiking a trail we'd done maybe 20 times before, just outside of Portland, Oregon. Leaf season, gray sky, the kind of day where the woods smell like rain and cold dirt and everything feels slightly more alive than it should. We were maybe 2 miles in when Sarah stopped walking. She grabbed my arm and pointed off the trail into a small clearing between 3 birch trees. Something was glowing. Not brightly. Not like a flashlight or a phone screen. More like the way an ember glows. Deep and warm and pulsing slightly like it was breathing. A soft yellow-white light coming from the ground, maybe 30 feet away. We stood there for a full minute before either of us moved. It was an egg. Not a bird egg. Not anything I could explain away that easily. It was large. About the size of a volleyball, maybe slightly bigger. Perfectly smooth. White with irregular red spots across the surface. And it was warm. We could feel the heat coming off it from 3 feet away, even in the cold October air. Sarah took about 40 photos before I even thought to reach out and touch it. It was the warmest thing I've ever felt. Not hot, not burning,
It's alive, Sarah.
just alive, warm. The kind of warmth that comes from inside something. We should have left it there. We both knew we should have left it there. We carried it home in Sarah's backpack. For 3 days, nothing happened. We kept it on a folded blanket near the heating vent in the living room. We didn't tell anyone. We searched the internet for spotted eggs found in Oregon forests and got nothing useful. We took turns sitting with it in the evenings, which sounds insane but felt completely natural. It felt like the right thing to do. On the 4th morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. to a sound I didn't recognize. Not loud, not alarming, a soft crackling, like someone carefully unwrapping something delicate. I sat up in bed and listened, and then I was out of bed and in the living room before I was fully awake. The egg was moving. Small shifts, tiny rotations. The red spots seemed brighter somehow, more vivid, pulsing with that same deep warmth. And the crackling sound was coming from inside it. Small, precise fractures working their way across the surface from a single point near the top. I woke Sarah up. She came in wrapped in a blanket and sat cross-legged on the floor 2 feet away, and we both just watched. It took 40 minutes. 40 minutes of slow, careful work from the inside, the shell coming apart in clean, curved pieces, the light inside getting brighter as each piece fell away. And then it was just there, sitting in the wreckage of its own shell, blinking at us with enormous dark eyes. Yellow, completely and unmistakably yellow. Small, pointed ears with black tips, rosy red circles on its cheeks that glowed faintly the same color as the shell spots had glowed. A small, brown striped tail. Tiny hands that reached out and touched the edge of a shell piece and then looked up at us again. Sarah said its name before I did. She whispered it like saying it too loud might break something. Pikachu. The first week was terrifying. Not because it was dangerous, it was the opposite of dangerous. It was small and confused and overwhelmingly gentle. It followed us from room to room, making soft sounds, somewhere between a hum and a word, something that wasn't quite language but felt like it was trying to be. It slept between us. It ate small pieces of fruit and once, memorably, an entire bowl of cereal that Sarah had left on the coffee table. The terrifying part was the electricity.
What was that?
Small at first. Static sparks when it was startled, the kind you get from a doorknob in dry weather, just concentrated into a tiny, precise point. Our phones would sometimes glitch when it sat near them. The Wi-Fi router reset itself twice in the first week. By week 2, it had figured out how to do it on purpose. Nothing destructive. It seemed to understand somehow that the apartment had limits, but it would light up the room sometimes. Sitting on the windowsill in the evening, watching the street below, a soft, warm yellow glow coming off it that made the whole room feel like candlelight. Sarah cried the first time she saw it do that. She said she didn't know why. I knew why. We both knew why. Because it was real. Actually real. Not a toy, not a costume, not something with a battery inside. Real in the way that a living thing is real. Breathing and warm and looking back at you with eyes that were trying to understand you just as hard as you were trying to understand it. It's been 4 months now. It knows its name. It comes when Sarah calls it and pretends not to hear when I call it, which feels deeply intentional. It has a favorite spot on the couch, the left cushion, third from the end, and will relocate any object placed there with a focused determination that is genuinely impressive. It does not like the vacuum cleaner. It has strong opinions about which TV shows are worth watching, and will leave the room during anything it finds boring,
Pikachu, where
which
are you
turns
going?
out to be most
I think it's
sports
bored.
and all cooking competitions.
Snob.
We've had to replace
That
2
show
lamps.
is
We've
great.
told our families we got a
How's your
cat.
week going,
Our families
dear?
have not asked to see the
Good,
cat,
Mom.
which is a
Studying.
relief. The
And how's the
electricity
new
is stronger
place?
now,
It's great.
more
Very
controlled.
cozy.
Good.
It can
Talk
charge a
soon.
phone
Love
just
you.
by holding
You
it,
too. Bye.
which sounds incredible and is incredible, except that it also means our electricity bill has gone down $40 a month, and we have no way to explain that to
I don't know
anyone.
how to explain this to anyone.
Sarah still thinks we should
This
tell
Wildlife
someone.
Authority report
I
is
still think
fascinating.
there's no
What
one
about
to
those
tell.
university programs
Last
you
week,
mentioned?
it sat
I'll
on the
check them
fire
now.
escape in the
Pikachu,
rain
wanna
for
come?
2 hours,
He's heading to his
just
bowl.
sitting there in the dark and the wet, looking out at the city. I watched it from inside through the glass door. It didn't seem sad. It seemed like it was thinking. Like something in the rain, or the smell of the wet city streets reminded it of something it couldn't quite name. When it came back inside, it climbed into Sarah's lap and made that sound, the one that's almost a word, and fell asleep there while she sat completely still for an hour so she wouldn't wake it. She looked at me over its head. Neither of us said anything. We didn't need to. I don't know what it is exactly. I mean, I know what it looks like. I know what name we use. But what it actually is, where it came from, why that egg was in those woods on that Tuesday in October, why us, I don't have answers to any of that. What I have is a creature that trusts us completely and relies on us entirely, and has never once done anything except try its best to exist in a world that wasn't built for it. And honestly, we're doing the same thing. We're not ready to show its face on camera yet. We're not sure we'll ever be. But we're documenting everything. Every day. Just in case someone somewhere someday needs to know that this happened. If you found something you can't explain, leave a comment. We read all of them. We're not as alone in this as we thought. If this story pulled you in, stay with us, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and follow what happens next. Because this isn't over yet,